Hello to everyone, Nyako here, and today I want to share with you Moreblocks version 2.7. And with 2.7, there are a stack of features that I might be able to take you through all of them. If I'm not able to take you through all of them, I will show you some, and then the rest of them I am going to leave in the email that comes out the day of the release. But 2.7 has a few things that I do think that they are going to enhance the way that you work with Moreblocks, the way that you work with the variable manager, the way that you work with breakdance. So that is my aim with this video, to convince you that this is probably the best way to work with breakdance when it comes to using a framework, when it comes to using something that has to do with variables. So without talking too much, I want to take you through a few things, and then from there we'll see where we get to. So I do have an installation already here, and I am in my canvas. What I'm going to do is I'm going to click on my extension icon and pin Moreblocks, and I'm going to trigger it. All right, so in here there's not much that has changed specifically with the component, but a few things, quality of life thing that I want to show you is, at first, the blog cards, the text used to run really long, and then they used to like break to the next line. They have been fixed to give this one a very a good UI, so it doesn't looks like we don't know what we're doing, you know. So that is that with that, and I think that will be that when it comes to the component itself. The next thing I want to take you to is working with more like the Moreblocks utility, which is what I call it. So with that, there are a few things that have happened that I want to show you, especially when it comes to like generating things. In 2.5, when I released this, I did show you that when it comes to generating colors and all of those things, you can add the colors directly into breakdance. And with that, I showed you by creating colors like this, and then changing our color to this color, clicking on save, and you can see it puts the colors over here. The next thing is you can go into your global settings, go into colors, go into your palette, and you should be able to see the colors that you have generated. From here, you're able to like create a list of colors, and you can just inject them into your breakdance workflow, so you can just have those colors in there, which was not bad, because if you want to just use the normal color system that breakdance has given you, this is the best way to do it. That being said, for me personally, sometimes I might not want to use the color system that breakdance has given. I might want to use something different, and for that to happen, I've added a new button over here inside the save color accordion. I've added a button here that when you click on it, it generates color variables for you to use depending on what kind of way that you want to use it. So if I do click on generate variables, it's going to generate the variables for me, and I can show you how the variables also let me delete, yeah, let's put it in here so I can show you how the variables look. So they look like this. And one thing that is really good about this whole process is that the colors that are generated, they are tied in to a specific naming system. So in here, this is the name of the color that we have generated, which is Flaming Flamingo. So that is the naming. So you can see that the color itself that is generated, the variables, they are given a better name that correspond to the main base color that was chosen. So the main base color was this. That is why you can see that from 10 to 100, it shows you like the different levels of tint that is given. So that is that. The next thing that I want to show you is that when you go into your clamps, you can also do exactly kind of the same thing, but since clamps, it only generates one clamp at a time. I'm going to try and show you this as fast as possible. So let's say I do have this. I'm going to click on save clamp, and then when I open this up, you do see that I do have my clamp over here as previously it is. And when I go into my typography, going into preset, I'm going to preset, you can see that it is still in here if you want to use it for your presets and other things like that. And you can also create a number of presets by triggering this to also do that. That being said, you can also generate variables just from the save clamp. And to do that, let's add a few more of these. All right, so from here, I'm just going to click on generate variables. I'm going to go back into my code, and then let's open this up. From here, I'm going to copy everything and then paste a new one. So the new variables that I generated from these look like that. So they also come with a naming system. It tells you when it was generated, and then has this comment. If you don't want any of the comment, you are within your own right to remove them. But that is how they do come about when it comes to what you have generated over here. So if you do want to use the preset method, you do still have this over here to use it. If you want to go with the variable method, if you want to generate your own clamps and generate variables from the clamps, you can also do this. All right, so that is that when it comes to generating variables and stuff like that. And then you do go into your CSS tab, and in here there are a few things that I have added that you can also use. All right, so the first thing is that I've added a new delete all prefixes, and the reason for this is that when you do have a bunch of prefixes or a bunch of variables already added to your project, sometimes you might want to clean out the house. You might want to remove things that you do not want. Previously, for you to do that, you would have to do that individually. But with this new addition, you can go in and wipe out the entire variables that you have extracted into your production website. And I'm going to show you how that is done. So let's click on copy the root template, go into code. I'm going to add a new style sheet in here, and I'm going to dump everything that I've copied. You see that these are the variables, and then I'm going to save that. From there, let's minimize this, and let's click on refresh CSS variables. I'm going to get a message over here, and then I am going to extract all the variables. So as I was saying, for you to be able to delete variables previously, the best thing was to click on delete, and then you confirm, delete, and then you confirm. And also, as you can see now, we do have our own pop-up over here that gives you the confirmation. First, you used to use the native one, so no more native pop-up alert. You do have a custom one like this, which is good. But back to this, you can see that I am deleting this one after the other, which is not the worst thing. But you might want to clean that house by clicking on delete all. It's going to let you know the ones that you're deleting. If this is what you want to do, you can click on confirm, and it is done. So that is that. And you can see that I have also leveraged the space to put these two items side by side. At first, this was stacking on top of each other, which was occupying a bit of real estate. But with this new addition, you do have them side by side. Maybe in the future, we might even remove all the buttons and then use icons to represent these things. All right, next thing that I want to do is I want to show you a few things when it comes to the variable overlay. So we do still have our items here. And then what I'm going to do is I am going to save this, right? And then I'm going to go into colors. Remember that we did some few colors over here. So I'm going to generate and copy the variables, come through this, and then probably let's put this as first items. So let's place them over here. Remember that everything that you want extracted, you have to make sure that they are within the bounds of this and then this. So it is really important that you keep that in mind. All right, so for that is for the color. I can go into my clamp and also I can generate the clamps. All right, so we can also put the custom clamp up first, just like that. I think the spacing is a bit bigger on this, so I'm just going to reduce them. All right, okay, so that's good, and then we can save it. Okay, and then we can go into our CSS. Just click on refresh CSS variables, so you can pull all the variables that are in here, and then you can just click on extract variables, and then you can see that we have to look for the color flaming flamingo, and then we do also have the custom fonts over here, which is good. So you can see that the colors that we generated using the variables, they have been pulled in here and they look as colors, and they do have this on it. Perfect. Okay, so I am done with that. The next thing is I'm just going to toggle the variable overlay, and I'm going to you can minimize that. We don't actually need it anymore. All right, so the next thing when it comes to the 2.5 that I want to show you is, let's go in here and click on section, and within this section what I'm going to do is I am going to put a few things like text, that, and then I'm going to add a button. You can go in here, put everything to the center like that, and I think that is good. And we can try and change this one, build breakdance website, build breakdance website, let's say faster and better, right? And then you can call this one the biggest breakdance component and CSS manager. All right, and then we can just put let's close that. Can just put let's say click here to start. So now I'm going to take you through the variable overlay and how it has actually grown since I think 2 weeks ago when I released 2.5, and now with 2.7 coming out, there's so much within the variable manager and the overlay itself that I do think that it's going to either 2x or 3x your production speed, and it's going to make your workflow really better. So I do have this heading text here. I'm going to go into styling, and most of the time with 2.5 that you're already using, the problem that I needed to solve was that when you do click on an input field, what happens is you do get a bunch of variables in front of you, which is not bad because that is what you want to use when it comes to like building things. But then they are so mixed together, you do not see the relevant variables first. So it is the problem, whether I did recognize that from the beginning or not. But it was a problem that then I became dedicated to try and fix that problem. And that is when I did think about, why not create something that is going to sort out based on the input field that has been selected. And that is what I have done. So with this new update coming, I have done something that I do called smart suggestion. So smart suggestion is more like the sorting of the variables according to the input field that has been clicked. And that is why you do see that when I clicked on color, you do have the colors first. So we do have the general breakdance colors, And then we do also have the second colors that we added via the generated colors, which is the color flaming flamingo. So those two colors are first, and you can see them literally on your screen. So since this is selected, I am going to click on this to change our color to that. All right, which is really good because mostly that is what you want to do. But the next big thing was that after you have used this color, right, you might be going to a different maybe page or a different section, and you might want to use this same color for that. And mostly what you're going to do is, if we duplicate this, we go into this, then I go in here and I remove this color from here. And let's say I do click on this and I click on colors, you still do get this as the first colors. But what is really cool right now is when I toggle this recently used color variable, I do see that the colors that I just used, they are being suggested to me to use again. So now I can just click on that without having to scroll all the way down to go and fetch it, which I do think that it is pretty damn good when it comes to helping you make your workflow even better. And I'm going to show you when the same example, but with a different input field. So we do have the font size input field. I'm going to click on here. Now, as soon as I did click on there, the first thing that has happened is that we have been shown the font for font sizes, and then the recently used has been cleared to show that when it comes to the font size input field, you do not have any used variables. So I'm going to go all the way down, and I am going to pick, let's say, this very one. All right, so as soon as I did click on that, you can see we have added this to our recently used font size variables, which is good because when I do close this and I come over here and I do click on font size, now since this is also an input field for fonts, we do have this suggested to us. So if you want to use that without having to scroll all the way down, we can just click on that and it takes upon itself the variable which we have just added in here. So it is pretty damn good when it comes to helping you, as I said, either 2x or 3x your production work and make sure that your workflow is really seamless. So it is actually really good. And the problem now that this is going to happen is, let's say that how do you clear everything over here? For you to clear it, you can either click on this to clear all generator styles, and when you do that, it is going to clear everything in your recently used variables. You can see that it is gone. Also, if you do, let's say we change that to something more like this, you do click on this little dot, it is also going to remove it if you don't want it to show over there. Also, if you do add this one again and you do click on this, you can also remove it from that. So that is how that also work. So I think when it comes to suggestion and also the recently used, that is that. And I do think that when you incorporate this into your own project, it is actually going to help you speed up when it comes to building out things. So that is that for that. The next thing that I want to also show you is really something that after building, I did think that, okay, we've done everything over here, but this is actually the major thing when it comes to 2.7, which is live preview. And when I talk about live preview, I am talking about you being able to preview a variable's usage without you actually inputting that variable into the input field. So if we do have our font size like this, and we do want to test a few of the variables that we do have over here, let's minimize this. We do have over here, what we would have done previously is we would have to add these variables manually in there, and then we will have to remove it, come back and then remove that, or just keep going through all the variables. But with live preview, you don't have to do any of that anymore. You can preview every variable according to the input field that you have selected. And I want to show you this incredible thing that you can do. First, let me lock this. Then I am going to click on this section. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go into size, go into height, and do custom. And I'm going to click on minimum height. So we do get a minimum height suggestion. And what I do want is I want to try this very one. Okay, so this is good. And let's minimize that and let's go into layout. And with layout, this is where I want to demonstrate to you the live preview that I am talking about. To do live preview, you have to hover on one of these buttons over here to preview it. But for you to do that, since we don't want the entire production to be you just live previewing the entire time, you can toggle live preview on and off. And to do that, you just have to click on this eye icon over here. When you click on it, you will see that it has turned this orange color, means that you are in live preview mode. And from there, you can test out every variable that we do have in live preview mode. So I'm going to focus back on our gap, and then I'm going to go through every space and size over here. So this is 2.5. You can see that it is working. This is 0.5. This is 1. This is 1.5. This is 2. This is 3. This is 7. This is 8. This is 9. So the power of live preview when it comes to Moreblocks CSS variable manager. Now, without you ever, so when you take out, when you remove the hover, it goes back to what it was when you started live previewing. So you can do that again, take your mouse out, do that again, take your mouse out. So in version 2.7, I am bringing live preview to your fingertips, and you can just live preview every variable within the variable manager. And I'm going to show you more. Let's click on that, go into typography, and let's click on color. With color, what I want to do is I want to live preview all the colors that I do have over here. So then you can ascertain for yourself what to do. So let's say I'm going to click on this section, right? Go into background color. And then I am going to give it a color of that. I don't think this color is in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add this color right there, right? All right, so that color. And what I'm going to do now is, let's say I'm going to select this and then go into colors. And then since we have live preview on, I'm going to click everything from here. Then I'm going to just go through this and see what will work better. You can see that these will definitely not work better. So my best bet is probably this one or something around this one. So I'm just going to choose that. Okay. All right. Then when I go back into my header, or go back into my section, and then with the gap, let's say I want to use that one. Yeah, I think that is good. And then, yeah, so with live preview, as I said, you are able to experience what a variable is going to do to the element on your page without you having to click on the element, remove the element, click on the element, and then remove, not the element per se, but remove the variable that has been attached to the element that you have on your page. All right, so this is everything for now when it comes to Moreblocks version 2.7.